announcement.
There's much more of our interview with the grandparents in a few minutes, but first, joining us live here on the ground in Orlando is former LAPD homicide detective Mark Furman. Mark, it seems that by virtue of what the mother is saying, not the grandmother, the mother, but there are three choices. One is that Casey knows something but is completely innocent. Another is that she knows something but is complicit, involved. And the third is that she did something. Because she's not saying she's not saying, I don't know anything.
Well, when you look at this, you can hypothetically say that she's a victim along with her daughter, but the problem here is you have biological evidence in her car. She steals gas. She borrows a shovel. All these things kind of roll into a place that she's involved, not some independent or some remote or some anonymous person.
All right, we don't have the biological information back. Certainly it's suspicious enough to warrant to send it for testing. Maybe there's an innocent explanation. We're still, that's still being looked at. In terms of the gas cans in the trunk, what the grandparents told us is that she had a problem with her gas tank with some sort of gauge or sensor in it, and that she was bringing the gas along in the trunk. The sort of curious thing, and I think we'll probably see that in a moment in the next segment, is that in terms of the gasoline, is that she broke open the home shed, busted the lock to get them.
Well, look, does anything make any sense? I'm shocked at the lack of relevant information from this entire family. We have a lot of belief and a lot of intuition, and I stand behind, but as far as evidence, Casey holds something very dear to her right now, either the information that she was involved or the information that somebody else was involved or a third party. And what she's doing is she has completely removed herself from any normal emotion of a mother missing a child. And that is the most disturbing part for me.
And of course, the police, the investigators need this information desperately.
They need it desperately, and if she's the only one that can provide it, if she doesn't provide it, then she is actually either the suspect or an accessory after the fact to the abduction and or death of her own daughter.
All right, Mark, if you'll just stand by. Coming up more. Continuing now with missing Caylee Anthony's grandparents, and for the first time you will see the backyard the crime scene investigators dug up looking for evidence after Caylee vanished.
But I was told that the dog was inconsistent on a hit here and
here being right here at the house.
And, yes, and inconsistent where her sandbox was.
Which is where?
Where it's at now, roughly.
This, is this a sandbox?
It's a sandbox.
It has a cover on it. Okay.
Yes.
So there was an inconsistent alert here.
Yes, an inconsistent alert over in the corner of the house.
Meaning over behind near the pool?
Yes.
Now, so they never had, as you're understanding, an alert. They rather had an inconsistent one.
They had an inconsistent alert, so that's why they explained to us why they brought the second cadaver dog in. Second cadaver dog did not alert in the same spots that they did.
Did not.
Did not.
Did not. All right.
There was nothing that they found that had any, that they came up with any evidence.
Does Casey say she borrowed a shovel from a neighbor?
Yes.
And what did she say her purpose of borrowing a shovel?
Was for the bamboo.
So to remove the bamboo, which grows very
rapidly.
Aggressively.
Right, it does. And if we don't keep track of it, if I don't get rid of that today, I'll have other shoots coming into the rest of the yard.
Do you not have a shovel that she could have used?
Yeah, we do have a shovel she could have used, but if she was here and we weren't home, George and I made a decision when we started locking the sheds this year, because last year Caylee wasn't able to do some of the things she could do this year. So we made a conscious effort to lock the sheds. We have 3 sheds.
Are these the sheds where there was some report something was stolen from the sheds or broken into?
Yes, and we actually need to replace a lot of stuff back here. But yeah, this is one of the sheds that we would normally keep locked and normally keep the shovels in, which we do keep the shovels in. This is his tool shed, the lawnmower, weed whacker, that type of thing, shovels, axes, hose, anything you do gardening work is locked up in here.
Like that.
I mean, it's a normal shed.
Was something reported stolen from this, though?
Yeah, gas cans.
When was that report made that gas cans were stolen?
You'd have to ask George.
Was that, though, before Caylee had been reported missing, or after that the gas cans?
It was before.
Yep,
and gas cans were taken. How many gas cans?
2. A 2.5 gallon and one about a gallon and a quarter, something like that.
Now, you made the report on June 24th. That's when you noticed it. Do you remember when you last were in there, so you have some sort of window of when that could have happened?
It could have been that Sunday. I believe I was in there Sunday. I don't believe I was in there the day before that, like on the 23rd. I'm positive the Sunday.
So the Sunday, the 23rd, you might have been in there? And you
Well, Sunday would have been the 22nd.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, so as best you can tell, it happened between the 22nd and the 24th. Someone broke in there.
Mm-hmm. That's when I saw my daughter. I was getting ready to go to work, and the garage door goes open and my daughter comes in. This is about 2:25, 2:30 in the afternoon on the 24th. As she comes into the house, and I said, "Hey, how you doing?" She says, "Fine, Dad." And I said, "Well, what's going on?" She says, "Oh, I'm just stopping home for about 10 minutes, get some clothes. I got to go back to work." "Where's Caylee?" "She's with Zanny." And I said, "Okay. When you guys coming home?" She says, "Oh, we'll be back home maybe late tonight or the next day." I said, "Okay. Have you been talking to Mom?" "Oh, yeah, I talk to Mom every day." I said, "I know, but did you talk to Mom today?" She sort of hesitated for a second, and she says, "Yeah." And she said, "Oh, by the way, it's a shame what happened in the shed." And I said,
Yeah, because I had called her. I
and I
talked to her
said,
about it.
"Really?" She says, "Yeah." I said, "Interesting."
In
And
the car.
I just said, "Hey, by the way," I said, "I'm getting ready to rotate your mom's tires on her car. There's a little metal wedge. It fits underneath your tires so your car doesn't rock back and forth." And I said, "Well, I'd like to have it, so in case you're not here over the weekend, I'd like to be able to do it." She was hesitant about letting me get in the car. And I said, "Well, listen, I got an extra key. I'll just go get it." Well, she was adamant about that.
What, not letting you into the car?
Yeah, and they won't let me get into the car to get the stuff out. "Dad, I'll get it for you." "Dad, I'll get it out." I said, "There's no problem. I know where it's at. I'll get it out and be done with it." So as we're walking out through the garage, she's still telling me, "Dad, I'll get it. Give me a minute, I'll get it." I said, "Casey, I'm capable of reaching inside your car," and I got it. So as she opened up the trunk of the car,
The gas cans were there.
guess what? I had the gas cans there. She's the one that took the gas can.
You will see much more of our interview with Caylee's grandparents tomorrow night, and we will have the complete interview, which is almost 2 hours, posted soon on GretaWire.com. We are not holding anything back. And coming up, we are live on the ground in Orlando, Florida, outside the home of missing toddler Caylee Anthony. Now, her mother sits in jail tonight, but earlier today we went to the Orange County Sheriff's Office, and now you will too. Now, from what I've studied so far on the case, there is videotape from Father's Day of this child. Do you have any information anyone has seen the child post Father's Day?
Don't have that information. That's one of the things that's ongoing in the investigation. I'm not aware exactly of the timeline as to how the investigation and what they've looked at, but the grandmother herself remembers that she actually took that videotape on Father's Day, so we do know of that. Of course, with us, when Ms. Casey was interviewed initially, she mentioned June the 9th. And so, of course, that's what we have started to look at from June the 9th onward.
Where was the child supposedly living between June 9th or June 13th and the time it was she was reported missing? Where was she supposedly
Well,
living?
to understand, she was with the mother, and that's what we have to basically nail down, is where was the mother all this time?
And was the mother wasn't living with the boyfriend at this time?
I don't know what the boyfriend has said. I don't know if she was there the whole time. She has led to her family to believe that she may have been with the boyfriend, or that she was actually working in other areas. And again, that's all the puzzles that we're trying to put together.
But then therein lied the lie. She said she was working at Universal. That's been disproven.
That's correct. That's correct.
She wasn't living at her parents' house with the child during that period of time, at least as best we know.
That's correct also.
She was at some point living with, is his name Tony, the boyfriend?
Tony. That's
Tony.
correct.
She was living with Tony during that period of time, but maybe not consistently between about June 9th and June 13th and the time the child was missing.
Correct.
So she's living some interim place or leaving it, and we don't know where that is?
We don't know, and again, if we do, the detectives have not related that information to us, but again, keep in mind that, and that's the puzzle about this, is that every time she says something, it's difficult to put it together just because she's not really specific.
We're trying to establish the veracity of her statements, which you know is very little credibility, very little reliability. So as we continue to put the information together, we make a determination between which dates were she seen, who was she with. Obviously, some of the photos will provide some of that information as well, as to some of the locations that she was frequenting, who was she staying with, where did she spend her nights, in order to make a determination and get a better picture, fill in that picture, if you will, regarding her whereabouts every night and during the day.
All right, now you say her veracity and her credibility. Is that just sort of a polite way to say she's lying?
Well,
I mean,
we've shown that she's lied. She's been untruthful. We went to the Universal. We went to the apartment complex. We still don't know where Casey is. She says that at least through some spokesman and by her own words when we spoke to her, originally when she made the report, that the child was okay. We need that proven to us. We need to make sure where that child is and make sure that she's okay. Till this point, we don't have that